Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. I am Dave and this is Mox Emerald Games, the Irish Magic the Gathering channel. And finally, Omnat is gone. Guys, Omnat is gone and I can make content again. I'm very sorry there hasn't been anything on the channel for the past couple of weeks, but it's been so depressing trying to play Standard in an Omnat dominated world. Nothing was as cool as Omnat because it drew so many cards, made so much mana, had such busted legacy-esque turns. Nothing was as good as Omnat. So it made it very hard for me to care about playing Standard. But let's just forget about that card. We can explore these cool new cards in the format now. And I'm bringing back an old favorite with new tweaks, Greenback Adventures, a deck that saw some play near the start of the release of Eldraine and was quite a good deck. With fair creature-based decks being good again, possibly, question mark. A deck like this could really dominate a good mid-range deck with solid removal and a solid game plan. But what is our game plan here? For people who haven't seen the deck, we have Edgewall Innkeeper, the best draw engine probably left in the format now that Omnat is gone. Our adventure creatures, Ophelmire Knight, Order of Midnight, and Murderous Rider with Lovestruck Beast as well, drawing us a bunch of cards and being very solid creatures in their own right. With drawing that many cards, we can throw in another green card like Vuov, but has seen very little play since Adventures took over. And that's a Jor-El. I'm never sure how to pronounce it. I call her Panther Queen. Just making a bunch of 2/2s and keeping our hand size actually fairly big since we're drawing actual cards, not just looting them away as like blue versions of the deck with her did early in the format. We got a big hand size in her 6 mana ability to make all our creatures big, especially since we have a lot of just 1/1s hanging about in 2/2s, is a relevant kind of overrun that people have to watch out for. This needs to be answered in the late game out of this deck. If we're going to play her as well, we can have some other draw cards that kind of inherently went into this deck anyway. Rankle was in this deck originally because you leave around, as I said, a lot of kind of derpy creatures like the Felmire Knight, the Innkeeper, and the Lovestruck Beast tokens. So they're great to sacrifice, but people forget Rankle also draws cards, goes well with the Panther Queen, and the Panther Queen's tokens can get sacrificed to Rankle's ability. Those cards work together extremely well. On top of that, an extremely fair card that we haven't seen for a while is Garrick, and kind of does everything this deck wants. Makes multiple tokens, grinds out normal mid-range kind of games, is not good by itself, and has a draw card effect on it. So maybe Garrick can be good in this format, now that I think the most unfair thing people are going to be doing is possibly Ugin. Now this deck might struggle there, but we can address that later on if that is the case. Another card that I think is extremely good from the new set that ties this all together is Agadeem's Awakening. And I've been looking since the ban what the best cards in the format are. And I think on the list, or the list that, short list of 10, are Rankle, which I've already explained why is very good in this deck, and this might be a very good Rankle deck. And Awakening is extremely powerful, and I've seen a couple black decks try and take advantage of it, including Rogues. Now, this deck has multiple 1-drops, multiple good 2-drops, multiple good 3-drops, and goes all the way up to 4, if need be, with Awakening. So I think this might be the best Awakening deck. Has the best quality of creatures. Like if I Awakening for 3, getting Innkeeper, like Jor-El or Order of Midnight, and a Visionary back, I draw a card. I've got my board back up to a good position, and there's an Innkeeper you have to deal with before you deal with anything else. So I think it might be the best Awakening deck. Everything else in the deck is pretty normal. I think Elvish Visionary I might need to explain a bit. This could be a couple different cards, but another trigger on turn 3 off of Jor-El, and it accelerates us into Garrick, which I think you need a bit of. I don't think I can just play 2 Garricks with 0 acceleration in the deck. Lotus Cobra, my other piece of acceleration, and why I'm playing Fabled Passage in the deck. Another thing of note is I am not playing Temples, as you might have noticed. It's because I have Fabled Passages that come into play turn 1 and 2 tapped already, a decent amount of time to kind of enable Lotus Cobra and insane draws. But I want to play Triomes. Not only are these better later in the game, where they put you up an entire card instead of just scrying you, but I want to play Castles, which are also very good with Jor-El. And I can't really play Temples and Castles. These count as my swamps for the Loch Twain, so this way I get to play 8 swamps, not including the Fabled Passage swamps, to make Castle come into play tapped. Like, this might be enough even to play a third Castle over a swamp, to be very honest. It also cheekily lets us play 1 Mythos. So it's like our 5th Murderous Rider that randomly becomes a Vindicate in certain positions. So that seems really good. Sideboard super straightforward, kind of generic because we don't know exactly what to expect. There's a couple cards we could toy with if I think Rebel Rogues becomes a problem. There is Nylea's the X-Spell, Nylea's X-Spell. The name has escaped me at the moment. We can use that to wipe away all the flying creatures while barely touching any of ours. That would be nice. But I think we can go under the Rogues deck a little bit. Maybe our removal isn't strong enough, but that's why we have some Blood Chiefs in the board and some Scavengers as well. So let's just jump straight into some games and see if any of this theorizing is actually correct. Any of you that have talked to me about this format or know this format know that I'm in love. I've been in love with Joriel, and I think it's been a huge shame that the card hasn't been playable for a while. Maybe a bit harsh, but yeah, just hasn't been good. Just because there's a lot of cards in the format like her that aren't bad cards, but there's just been such busted things going on that why would you play something so fair? Okay, on the play. Very slow hand. I think we're pitching this back. A lot of lands, awful lot of rankles as well. And this is a bit better. It's interesting though. I don't know if I want to risk making a Lovestruck Beast on turn 1. Because if I draw any untapped land, I get the Lotus Cobra into Rankle. We're definitely keeping. What are we pitching? Probably Murdersider. I might want to draw a card with this. I think we have to go for the biggest upside here. There we go. Very much rewarded. Get that Lotus Cobra into play. Ooh, just noticed my opponent's companion. Very cool. Garuga was a card I absolutely loved. Make black. Swamp. Black. I think we both want to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, opponent going up cards here doesn't matter too much in this position. I think where another card is pretty big for me. Now, any creature my opponent plays needs to be able to block Rankle or just dies in exchange for a 1/1 on my side. Ooh, discards Elspeth. Maybe I'm walking into a shatter here. But we're going to get some cards back straight away. I don't really care for walking into it because the cards all replace themselves. I think I want to draw again. I can do both. I can draw, discard. I don't really need this forest besides for discarding to Liliana. And I might actually get a good card out of their hand here. I got a Felidar retreat. Okay, let's see Shatter. Okay, they did have Shatter. They are a Shatter deck, but we have a Planeswalker to follow up. We can double spell and guarantee a Gark. I think a Planeswalker is better.
Address me as Queen of the Dead, please. I have no interest in fighting fair.
Plus their life total is pretty low here. So Liliana, ooh, Elspeth Conquer's deck is hard for me to beat, I think.
For the list.
We can do it for 2. I think we can just hold on. Oh, maybe we just want to play Gark. I was saying maybe we can hold on to this and just play this, but I think that's a bit slow and greedy. I'm just going to Gark. They need to answer it pretty immediately.
Watch out. These woods, we were born for the hunt.
They need like another Conqueror's Death to re-punish me, I think. So we purposely played into a Shatter. was definitely a conscious decision. We could have played around it. I think it's a little tough because I think playing around it entails losing to like slower draws, if you get what I mean. So if I had just like attacked for a bit, left some cards in hand, I'm soloing my opponent here by monologuing, which isn't nice.
Looks like you're not.
Then I could have just lost to some like creatures or some planeswalkers, where I made a decision to draw a bunch of cards. Like I was getting 3 cards back off 2 creatures anyway. If I draw any of my planeswalkers, I'm good. If I draw another Rankle, I'm in a very good position. So I think the play pattern is probably correct. What do we want? Ooze plays around Elspeth Conquers Death, bringing stuff back, and his Elspeth, or their Elspeth, sorry, shouldn't presume. But I don't think I've seen enough of the deck to make monumental changes here. In general, this is supposed to be against control decks, but they seem more mid-rangey than strict control. I guess, sorry, they also had Felidar Retreat. Yeah, I should bring in some Wilts. What am I cutting for Wilts? I think my Planeswalkers seem good. I think I can probably go down a Lovestruck Beast. A Visionary. Lower my curve a little bit. Lovestruck Beast is bad if they're a control deck in general, because that's them kill the 1/1. And while I know Lovestruck Beast is a card advantage anyway, it's not the worst. You don't want to be stuck with a couple of Lovestruck Beasts and play doing nothing. Okay, this hand's pretty good. Mythos turned on by the Triome. That's nice. It's like having another Wilt in my main deck then. Well, better than Wilt, but you know what I mean. Again, drawing well so I can load this Cobra into fetch land. Into a Rankle, kind of the perfect thing my deck wants to be doing. Crawling Barrens is sweet. Again, there's a lot of nice cards in this format where I'll be so happy if they're what's quote-unquote good. So this is a little scary because I can play a Rankle out now. But if I do, I could get Elspeth Conquers Deathed. What else is my hand realistically doing? So I think that's the line I go for anyway. They have 5 cards in hand. Discard wouldn't be bad here. What are we discarding? I could discard just a Murderous Rider that isn't doing much and I can get it back with Order anyway. Does it go to the graveyard? Actually, that's only when it casts, isn't it? Yeah, it's when it dies. Okay. I'm going to go discard this time. I don't think I want them to draw and have a better draw. This is going to be a bit of an attrition-y match, I think. Ooh, they're an Ugin deck. Okay, I think Ugin decks in general are good against me. Top land is very good for me here. They have an Apparition. Okay. Another Ankle is pretty sweet. So I can cast this, and I can still cast Rankle. Because Lotus Cobra unchecked is still a bit nutty. Do I want them to trade here and I don't sack anything? This is an attempt at free damage, right? So if opponent doesn't block, I still make them sack, yeah. Because I'm going to sack this regardless. Because I want to draw a card and get the Panther Queen going. Yeah. Ooh, this is interesting. So they haven't blocked. Do I actually want to sack? Because I want a creature left when they shatter next turn, I think. I think they haven't blocked because they have a shatter. Yeah, I'm not sacking. Elspeth Conquers that is also a decent reason, but I had a removal spell in hand, so if the Elspeth Conquers that, I can just kill this and attack. Turn this to our hands. Put opponent to low. Let's see if they have to shatter this time round. I can draw a card this time because I have a 4/4 illusion. Won't be Dorst. Okay, they're gonna make a couple blockers. I don't think that's enough with the Murder Strider unless they have another piece of attraction.
Together we can exact justice.
Okay, draws were very smooth that time. That went extremely well for us. So, opponent also didn't have early interaction. They brought in some because they didn't have their... Should have pointed this out at the time, but they didn't have their... Oh, I don't like this. I don't know where I am in gold. They didn't have their companion that time round. So they did get maybe glass caskets or something, but game one they were a low interaction deck. We got a Lotus Cobra draw. Game two they didn't have their interaction even if they brought in some. We had a Lotus Cobra draw. And Cobra, while it's not an issue, I don't agree with people who say the card is an issue in the format. It is still a good card. It's going unchecked will help you fuel some crazy shenanigans like it did on our turn 5 with the fetch land. Or turn 4 with the fetch land. I think it's have 6 mana that turn and play Jor-El and the Rankle. Okay, pretty great hand, as we say, the interaction. If this was a temple, we'd, well, we probably wouldn't have this card in our deck, but if this was a temple, we'd have to go tap land here, where now we can turn 2, play the Panther Queen. They have a temple. Opponent doesn't know the tech. Opponent don't know how to get free castles. Castles in the sky. Ooze main deck is good against me. So now, next turn, if they don't kill the Panther Queen, I'm definitely drawing a card. They have the Eliminate. Another Temple. So we're still drawing a card, so even if we miss our land drop, we get another go at a land drop. The nice thing about Jor-El is she is another threat, which they kind of have to answer. Can't really let people untap with that card. And that means Innkeeper might go unchecked a little more often anyway. They said might, not definitely. Maybe they'll attack, I'll take a trade. I'll do a tradesies. Oh, they're just eating it before I can get anything back. Well, that has left them open to me getting back Jor-El though here. So I can play this. Play Lotus Cobra, play this, take 3. Have 2 mana, order back Jor-El, pass. And then still have a respectable board. While next turn threatening to go, especially if I hit a land, I can go Jor-El plus like Order of Midnight. I'll put sorry, Innkeeper Order of Midnight. Oh, almost played this without yelled Cobra. I might also just want to Rankle next turn. So I think opponent made a little bit of a mistake by just randomly eating something. A bit of F6 value for them. Probably wasn't worth it. Felly. Fel might not doing work here. We were a bit constricted on our draw and just completely stonewalling this ooze that maybe could have got in for a bit more damage at this stage. Came down turn 2, so might have got in for 6-ish damage. And we're struggling. Also an Innkeeper deck. We don't have a removal spell for the Innkeeper either. This might get messy. Can we hit a land? We cannot. That's unfortunate. Fetch land for 3 mana would have been sweet. Opponent didn't have a removal spell last turn. I think they might have hit Cobra. Maybe not. Maybe they wouldn't have hit Cobra. So Innkeeper down. They attack with Rider. I might block with Foulmire. Maybe not. Actually, but maybe not, because I might have to spend my entire next turn just Murderous Riding this Innkeeper. Yeah, I'll probably have to now. Okay. Opponent didn't even want to get in with the Murderous Rider. Feels like a bit of a missed attack. Cobra getting us out of our mana predicament a little bit. Let's just go about killing this Innkeeper. We're going to need some Blood Chiefs in the next match, I think. We're a bit light on removal in our main deck to pack in more power, I guess. But it does make us vulnerable to stuff like Innkeeper. Now our ankle looking good. Any Innkeeper draw would be extremely good. Five mana. The Great Henge is problematic for us out of the main deck. We only have one answer to it in our main and Mythos. They have nothing. Wonder what their last 2 cards are that they can't cast anything there. Maybe a double black spell. Would make some sense. I want them to discard, because I don't really want my Rankle in hand. Though if they have a removal spell, I would have wished I kept it. And if they have 2 creatures left, I want to make sure to get one. I need to draw, so I think I'm actually doing all 3. Maybe I'm supposed to just draw and try and make my guys really big next turn. By just keeping everything in hand. Ooh, Awakening. Oh my god, that's a very good draw. I'd rather keep all the ground creatures for now. Okay. I love the panther noise. Why does the panther sound so tired? I know the feeling, Panther. I know the feeling. Okay, so next turn I get to shut off this. So hopefully they only get like a card off it. Maybe drawing cards was dangerous that turn, but we needed to find an answer. There's a little bit what we were afraid of. Another creature. Okay, not the worst. Leave it at 1 creature maybe, opponent? Let's be fair about it. Okay, we're being fair about it. Only 1 creature. Agreed. Okay, now I feel like we're very far ahead if we get to kill Great Henge. So with Ooze, we're never going to get to use this. We might as well just get a Lovestruck Beast into play. I've never heard his animation noise before. Did Lovestruck Beast just make a weird crying noise? Don't be weird about it, Lovestruck Beast. Don't be weird about it. Okay. Another Foul Miter would be a very good draw. Quote Raven. That was a pretty great sequence by opponent. Unfortunately, downside of playing these, I can just draw a card here though. I'm on 12. So do I want to... I probably want to make a 1-1 first to empty my hand a little. Board's getting pretty wide. If the game goes long, I'm hopefully going to be able to like chip damage them out with Joriel. Not with this though, giving trample. Now I regret not playing Wolf Struck last turn.
I like animals better than people.
Okay, that's okay. Because he also could have just targeted this twice with Garrick and I would have been in trouble. Let's find a good draw here. We might have to attack with this for nothing. That's a good draw. That's another good one. Another very good one to be able to kill this. Oh no, we can't. Sorry, our graveyard's completely empty. Can I kill Garrick here? 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 attackers. They eat this. Is there a creature to eat actually? There's not, so this can attack. Can attack Garrick here. Can also get in some tokens. What does that look like? They eat these two. They block here. Garrick doesn't die. Maybe it's just a 5/5 gets in. What are they trading? You can put these two in front of it. I'll kill an ooze. This becomes like a 7/7 though. What does this look like? Not amazing either. I think I'm just doing this. Okay. I'm pretty okay with that. That's just keeping the number of creatures in play down and waiting for my overrun turn. Like, they only have 3, 4 blockers a turn. Next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or am I just dead? Do I have something here? I'm gonna have 8 2/2s next turn. 8 3/3s. Going true, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm so bad at maths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They block 3 of them. So 9 creatures get through for 3. Which is just super lethal. Am I missing anything here? Do they have creatures to eat? They do not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have enough mana. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count one more time. I'm so sorry, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 creatures get through. 9 trees are 27. That lagged and I was terrified. Oh my god, I was terrified about that lag. Opponent has Great Henge and Garrix and Scavenging Ooze in place of my other cards. And honestly, I don't know if I agree with it at all. Maybe I'm wrong. And like, this is obviously being very results orientated, and Great Henge is a good card. But I feel like Joriel does so much. Okay, we went up a game there. We beat a Great Henge. I did get lucky. Let's put it out there. I did get lucky to make that draw with the Great Henge. I want to sideboard these in. Garrick seems like he's going to be very good in this matchup. I think we literally just have to be careful of not dying to Great Henge. And I don't even know if I want all 3 Thirsts. I think 2 is fine. I think we can cut down on a Lovestruck Beast. I want to say Cobra, but Cobra was so good. If Scavenging Ooze is a thing, I don't think Liliana is very good. How many lands are we running here again? 8, 14, 18, 24, basically. Yeah, can't really go lower than that. We could add Cobra. Cobras are bad in the later game. And I think it's always fine to cut a Visionary. Like, I think he is very good in this matchup, though. But he's just not instrumental to any one piece of the deck. He just helps it along. So I think cutting down to 3, like, arguably you only want 3 in the main deck anyway. 4 might be a little greedy. Green-black decks that got little bits of incremental advantage. How I've missed you. How I've missed you. It's kind of why I wanted to cut down on Lotus Cobras. Like, Lotus Cobras aren't the be-all, end-all, and if you don't have a payoff. But I think 2 of them could lead to some wacky stuff. We got some redraws if we need them. Though depending what I draw, I might be playing this on turn 1 anyway. Let's see. Opponent's kept as well. I love opponent's sleeves. I like this Vivian art a lot. Okay, certainly playing one of them to avoid getting top landed. I have no turn timbers in the deck, and maybe I could have one. Okay, well, I don't have a removal spell, but I do have a very sick draw to an early Garrick here. Now I have to make the choice of kill the snake or draw a card. The classic choice. Oh no. Mythos. So if I make snake this turn, I can play a land, cycle Wilt. They have to kill snake again if they can. Sorry for this like graphics clicks. I don't know if you guys can see it probably with a little flash of black here sometimes. Then turn after, I go 4th land. I'd have to draw a fetch land, but I think it's worth it because this early Garrick is going to win the game. Okay, we just got another Wilt out of it. Oh no. Well, no, sorry. That's I'm the one with the Cobra in play. That doesn't do anything at the moment. Okay, that's a fetch land will probably just straight up win the game. Green source, not black source is interesting. More green for Scavenging Ooze. It's the reason I don't like Scavenging Ooze in the main deck. I think that it's conflicting a little bit with the ability to cast Murderous Rider. You want as much green as you want, but you also want a good amount of black. Also, Agadeems, you want like all the green you can have, but also all the black you can have. So I can just kill one of these now, because they're nearly certainly going to be able to play Adventure next turn. I don't want them to draw out of this. I'm not 100% sure this is correct. Like, Ooze is going to get quite big. I also could have offered a trade there, because I think they're nearly certainly going to take 2 damage. And if they, like, trade here, I don't think I'm too unhappy. But again, if they're just, like, going to play Lovestruck Beast or this guy who isn't that convincingly good. So, he's hexproof from black. So that won't work. I still think getting Garrick just onto the field is good enough, though.
You've got a good head on those shoulders. For now. Stay on the trail.
Now. They don't have a second black is also a reason I'm going with this play. They can't just murder Sorcerer's Garrick at the moment. They might be able to next turn, but by then hopefully I've drawn some cards. Like a double block on the Harbinger for sure. Probably also single blocking the Ooze. I just want no damage to happen here. Okay. We'll get to draw a card. That's pretty sweet.
Try not to lose your head out here.
Garrick loves his puns. Just gonna load up the boards. Look for one of our stronger cards to win the game. Don't think we need to expose this to removal spells. There's the double black we were scared of.
Anyway.
That's fine. Opponents down to very few cards in their hand. We're doing pretty well. Agadeem's not looking great. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle before we do anything else. Play like this. I want to attack with both of these in order to get back one of them. I think so. Yeah, this seems good for me. Thinning the deck out, getting some extra mana. Draw straight away. Rankle's really nice here. Opponent doesn't have that many cards in hand. And is pressed on the creature front a little bit as well. Getting the edge wall engine going isn't great for us. We're just so far ahead on mana here. All our cards are cantripping. If we find one adventure card, we're in very good condition. Maybe you draw your second card each turn. So I've already drawn my second card, so this won't trigger. Player discards, each player sacks. I think my Cobra days are over and I'd rather have an extra toughness on this creature to block the Harbinger if necessary. Also add another Innkeeper. I'm kind of afraid they brought in a sweeper of some sort. Just don't think we need to add it to the board. If they do have a sweeper, Extinction Event gets us pretty hard. I don't think we need to. The other thing is, it's possible also to have a turn where I overrun. So if I hit another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I hit another card here, I can make all my guys 3/3s on the attack, and it trades away their entire board. So if I do this. If I do this, attack with everything except one visionary, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. Yeah, this seems pretty good for me. Yeah, keeping the extra card in hand to make sure we had 3 was also pretty relevant for this turn. Yeah. They can make all the blocks they want, but we keep the majority of our creatures. They get to trade with only 1. No creatures, and I still have our ankle trigger to go. I think our version felt a bit stronger. The Grey Henge is very good, but Our version felt a bit stronger overall. I could definitely see games, though, where we're at party and a Grey Henge just completely annihilates me. No questing beast out of opponent either. Another card I don't think is very good until we can prove there's going to be a lot of planeswalkers in the format. Now there might be. There's a lot of very fair planeswalkers, very fun, very fair planeswalkers. We have to see Teferi, but he defends himself against questing beast. Maybe the Royal Scions. Maybe we saw that Elspeth out of opponent's deck, the first opponent's deck. Besides that, I'm not that happy with that many. Garrick seems decent, but there, as we saw, there's a lot of ways to deal with him. He just puts you slightly ahead and snowballs out of Lotus Cobra draws sometimes. Speaking of Lotus Cobra draws, I think this is a fine keep. A little do-nothingy, but we have some draws with our Foulmire Knights. Okay, maybe Rogues. Again, I think Temples are mostly just incorrect in the format. In any black deck, because you can just play, you can just get castles into your deck much easier with Triomes. Okay, they had it. Must be nice. Ooh. So if I get back to Schneck, play this tapped. Next turn, I play the Snake, play this. I'll have 3 mana. 4, 5, is that correct? So 2. I'll have a land in play, so that's 1 extra mana. Plus this generates 1, 2, 3 mana. So I'll have 4 mana. And I'll be able to go Joriel plus this. Or I can just play Joriel, play a tapped land. I think I like this a little more because I want the option next turn to be able to bring back Joriel if they just kill it with another Blood Chiefs. And if not, I want to start pumping out 2/2s. I think that might be hard for a Rogues deck to beat. There's also the option if it is Rogues. Oh, it's Grixis, so probably not Rogues. Ooh. Interesting. What am I attacking into if I attack? They keep highlighting my card. I think I can attack. I'm going to play the land first to play around the 4 spike. It's a land. Heartless in response. Okay, that's fine. That's just a 1-for-1. We don't mind that. And that's why we kept the Order of Midnight in hand to be able to get Joriel back if that was the line opponent took. Unfortunately, passing the turn doesn't work there. Because passing the turn means opponent will, I won't get to make the 2/2 anyway on their turn. This is kind of nice. If I make this, sack the land. If they kill Lotus Cobra in response, it's not great, but otherwise I think this is pretty good. I don't think there's that much interaction at instant speed that decks like this will play, because I could have another Heartless Act, but Blood Chief's Thirst is pretty... Oh, Bone Crusher, of course. Okay, that was silly of me. Bone Crusher can be, of course, be in my opponent's range there. That was kind of silly of me. But we're going to try and slowly get this creature online. Didn't even really think of it. I never think of Bone Crusher out of, like, control shells. Which is stupid. He's very good in control shells. I always think of it as like a Growl creature kind of card. I was about to say it could be another Heartless Act, but I wouldn't mind that too much if it was. Okay, I could just kill this Bone Crusher. Have a Planeswalker in play. That seems kind of fine. Play the Foulmire Knight as well.
Run now, and I might spare your life. Let death embrace.
Wrong one. Now, I don't always play the Foulmire here, because Foulmire could trigger off Innkeeper later, and maybe I should be keeping it as a very cheap trigger off Innkeeper. But it's a control deck, and I want to get some chip damage in and some position on the field to defend my Planeswalker. That is good. Okay, well that just lets me strictly upgrade one of my other cards. That seems really bad.
Planeswalker, your heroics are but a dream to me.
Ooh. Not sure I like opponents play with Ashiok that turn, putting Ashiok to 2 either. Saying it's bad is also just strictly wrong. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know the contents in their hand, but... Oh, this is interesting. I don't really want to discard any of my cards. I guess I do just discard a Felmire Knight, though. Because Joriel is probably not surviving anyway.
Sorry for your
Essence
loss.
Scatter discard. Wow. I hate that animation. It's creepy.
Friendly.
We're also going to go up a bunch of cards.
Out.
Get my bones crushed. As you do. So they discard an Essence Scatter, which makes me think they might just have another one. But could they have like a Neutralize as well? Would they play Neutralize in a 3-color deck? They didn't play Bone Crusher, so they certainly have a piece of interaction. If it's Essence Scatter, I don't want to run out an Edge Keeper into it. Edgewall Innkeeper. But otherwise, if it's a cancel, I certainly don't want to get my Garrick cancelled. I think I have to lead with Garrick. We've seen Essence Scatter, we haven't seen Neutralize. They're a 3-color deck. It doesn't seem likely that they could just run Neutralize.
That's my kind of music.
I'm also just going to make a bunch of cards off of it. I could just kill this and attack Ashiok, but if they have any other piece of interaction that's not a counter spell, I'm just toast. Now this backfires if all they're holding is like a Murderous Rider effect. They kill this Garrick, and then they still have this 2-tree, and I don't have any other opportunity to kill it, or they have 2/2-trees. Maybe I should be taking that turn to try and kill. Okay. Does this mean I have another Ashiok and they're going to bounce a token and get both my cards? Yeah, maybe I might play last turn's bad. Maybe I'm supposed to just kill this. But I also just... It's not good against a Bone Crusher either. They can kill this. I don't kill their Planeswalker. Or I don't get a second 2/2. Then I keep my Garrick. This is, that last turn was very close. Okay, we're going to keep Garrick.
Fade into the shadows.
It was an interesting last turn. That might seem silly, but I still think my opponent might have an Essence Scatter the way they played their last turn. And if they don't have another Ashiok to completely punish me, like, this card's just going to take over the game. I think I want to play this. I'm going to get a bunch of castle activations in this game, I think. They do run Neutralize. Okay, I wonder if they had that last turn, they just drew into it. Interesting. Maze Mind Tome is an issue here, but hopefully Castle can dig us out of this. Maybe they didn't have double blue up. Maybe I missaw their map plan at the previous turn. Or a Croxa deck. Okay. Did not expect a Croxa that turn. I'm just gonna keep making 2/2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We're very close to being able to activate Castle on attack in a turn. To, like, surprise them with the amount this can pump. Why? That's weird. So they must have another Neutralize or something in hand. I'm not sure why they'd let me have a free 2/2 with Joriel there. This Tome is doing business, though. It's drawn them and scryed them a bunch of cards. And it all came down to that one Garrick turn. But I had a second Bone Crusher, so I don't think it would have went well for me. It completely depends on which order they do their cards, I guess. Okay. I just have to play this. I don't really want to play this because they're representing another neutralize here. I should get in the air there. There's no reason for me not to attack for 2 in the air. I kind of blank on Order of Midnight. I've certainly missed multiple attacks with it in this video. Falmire putting Kroxa in check at the moment. Kroxa. I don't know if that's a flavor win or fail. Opponent tanking deeply. Okay, neither of them were like amazing draws, so I don't mind that. So old habits die hard. I feel like really weird about blocking in a way in which Bile could blow me out, so I don't want to do that. I should also keep a wolf in play because I have another Garrick in my deck, so I should be doing this. Because Panthers have no relevance. Just trade everything off. I assume my opponent has some removal spells here to make that not the case. Okay. Okay. Order of Midnight would be an insanely savage draw here. Does opponent have all the lands in hand, or you think they have more counter magic, right? Because of an attack because of a play they made earlier. We were saying we think they have more counter magic. No, they used another. No, they haven't used another neutralize since then. Okay, so they nearly certainly have a neutralize in hand. I think we're supposed to just play into it. Draw a card. Let them neutralize this if they want. This isn't a big deal to be in play. I don't think they should neutralize it. I don't want Kroxa to get a card out of my hand if it ends up coming back, so I'm just going to pass here. We also now have Murder Sword. I guess it does have relevance in play. Murder Sword gaining life in this match is probably going to be pretty irrelevant. They just cycle neutralize. Okay, interesting. They're just trying to get Kroxa back in play. Again, I missed an attack with Hour of Midnight or Order of Midnight because I can't block. It's just very sloppy play from me. They should be on 19. If not, I think I've missed 3 possibly. They should be maybe on 17. Like, that is unlikely to matter at the end of the game, but with the way the game is playing out. But silly things like that will lose you games. If it only loses you 1 in 100 games, like, that's still a win percentage you're leaving for nothing. Okay. Maybe opponent just has more counter spells. We do think they have an Essence Scatter. That's been true for a long time. Maybe they have like a negate. Maybe I'm playing into a negate here. Doesn't seem like it though. There's the Essence Scatter. We don't really care about that getting Essence Scattered though, in fairness. A lot of our creatures just say draw a card. My deck is getting pretty small just because the amount of cards I'm drawing, which is kind of funny. Gonna get crushed by some kind of flash creature here, maybe. I am gonna go to 3. Yeah, there's a shark. Gonna get crushed by a flash creature, so that's just lethal from opponent. The one turn I attack with my Order of Midnight. Okay, so opponent's like Grixis mid-range. Ashiok.
I
They not
wonder
have...
if you're brave enough
They could have Crocs at me for the win
overcome
that turn.
your fear. Recoil to the recess of your mind.
Oh, they just have a Crocs in. Okay, opponent just showboating a little bit. Oh no! Sorry, they did it correctly. If I have a creature, opponent actually played well. That's me being a little silly. So these are the cards I'm thinking of bringing in. Just a good grindy card against the matchup. Wilts only kill the Mind Tomes, but Mind Tome is pretty much the reason the opponent won that game. And Scavenging Ooze just gets rid of Croxes. I think we don't need these like explosive draws with Lotus Cobra, and it's a card that doesn't do much in the late game. So we don't need it. Shave one of each of the 3 drops, I don't mind that. Then I never know at this stage what to cut. I think this is quite difficult. Possibly. They didn't seem to be able to actually deal with Garrick that well. Lovestruck is a decent amount of damage. But it seems they have Bone Crushers. I could also maybe take out Jorial because she gets Bone Crushed so much. I actually like taking out this. So, as much as that does deal with the issue card, which is the Mind Tome, I need my white mana, otherwise it just kills creatures, and I can never be in a position in this matchup where it just kills creatures. That seems kind of bad. While they did have creatures that were relevant to kill, like Croxa, like the Shark tokens, that's not what they're winning with. That's not what they're gaining their advantage with. So I don't really care about killing creatures that much. I like Agadeems in this matchup, but not enough to keep this hand. I think I have to mulligan again, unfortunately. This is pretty good, though. We're just going to run out to use. We have an Agadeems, possibly if we draw a couple lands. So I don't want to, I don't care about it getting Bone Crusher because I might get it back. If I don't, it still made them spend their removal spells. Like, maybe I could have just not played anything. And the reason to use this in my main deck, predominantly a black deck. And I can't eat anything this turn to get out of Bone Crusher range. Ooh. Slight card advantage. The best kind of card advantage. And a good thing for Ankle to eat. Okay. We'll just eat that straight away. And now this card is both Heartless Act and Bone Crusher proof. The reason it is a very good card in the format, I think. I think there's going to be an update taking Grasp of Darkness played in certain builds of decks. For numerous reasons. Okay. So they could have a Shark token ruminating here. Just gonna pass. Okay, we weren't wrong. I maybe should have eaten the Scavenging Ooze just to draw a card there. I mean, just gain a life there, not draw a card. So if they have an Essence Scatter, I'm getting pretty beat down. Another Temple. And a blocker for the Bone Crusher. More Bone Crushing. Our deck certainly isn't... our 2-drop slot certainly isn't strong to Bone Crusher. That card is good against this, I think. And possibly the reason this deck isn't good. Bone Crusher is probably the premier card in the format. One of the best, most dominating cards in the format. Okay. There's the Essence Scatter. Not looking great for us here. Got pretty outclassed by opponent's mid-range deck. Though we did mulligan hard in the last game, and like game 1 probably came down to one decision on my behalf, whether to risk it for a very high octane play or high risk, high reward play. Now, not depending if they had drawn the Bone Crusher before or after, it would have won me the game or not. But it's interesting. That is the deck, though. Thank you so much for watching. My first take on green-black, and I think it looked pretty good. I'm not sure if I'd change anything now. I think I'd want to test a little more. But this is our first post-bannings deck. On that, again, we're finally free. We're trying decks. Every deck I played against there I think was fun, was fair, and maybe Magic and Standard is heading towards that again. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe for more of these videos from me and Sean. Until then, thanks and keep gaming.